After months of speculation, the waiting is finally over, and we know who's going to take Jimmer Fredette. I'm Jared Lloyd of CougarBlue.com, and I'm here with Jason Franchuk, BYU beat writer for the Daily Herald. We were at Energy Solutions Arena tonight for the NBA draft party for the Utah Jazz. People were wondering where BYU's big star was going to end up.
The 10th pick in the 2011 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Jimmer Fredette.
Kind of a little bit anticlimactic with him being taken by Sacramento.
Good to be king, right? But it was a disappointment here when you look at the setting. As far as I think a lot of people were excited. There were a lot of people in blue Fredette jerseys and everything, number 32 jerseys, excited to possibly see him become a Jazz man. But we saw Sacramento trade down 3 spots earlier in the day, and turned out he's going to Sacramento, which is a pretty good setup for him considering the young talent on that team right now.
Were you surprised by the reaction basically here in the arena? There really wasn't a lot of reaction when that pick was announced on ESPN.
Yeah, there was cheering when Fredette was drafted. I think some of it was BYU fans just, hey, this kid was a top 10 pick, and that's a pretty big deal. That happened to Rafa Araujo back in 2004, but that's not very common around BYU or even the Mountain West Conference for that matter. But then I think there were some Jazz fans that were actually excited because they didn't want Fredette.
No Jimmer. No.
No Jimmer?
That's all I have to say.
Why not?
Draft anyone else. I don't think he's proven himself yet. I'm to the NBA. This isn't college ball.
But he didn't end up here. Instead, the Jazz got a couple of players that are very intriguing.
For the 3rd pick of the 2011 NBA draft, the Utah Jazz has selected Enes Kanter.
Well, it's interesting. Kevin O'Connor, the general manager, has already been out and talked to the media, and he calls him a bull in a china shop.
I think his size and his motor. Again, he's a willing worker. He's going to get better every day. You get a big guy that will run the floor and work like he does, you'll be successful.
And he said he's not a guy who's going to dazzle you with footwork, but rather he's going to try and run you over. He compared him again to a football running back, a north-south type guy. And the Jazz need somebody. He's not going to be a three-point shooter. He's not going to spread the floor, but he's a physical presence. And the Jazz feel like he's a great rebounder, and they've needed that. They need that tough guy inside presence that they've been missing. He's 19 years old, though, so it remains to be seen what you can expect out of a guy that young.
A little skeptical at first, but watching some of the highlights and listening to him talk, I'm just wondering what they're going to do with Al Jefferson now.
He reminds me of Memento Curve, and he will help the Jazz to win the NBA championship. Go Jazz! Woo-hoo!
Let's talk a little bit about number 12.
With the 12th pick in the 2011 draft, the Utah Jazz are going to select Alec Burks.
They went with Alex Burks from Colorado, your neck of the woods, my neck of the woods. We both grew up out there. But talk a little bit about the shooting guard that they picked up at number 12.
It's an interesting thing when you call him a shooting guard, Jared, because he's a scoring guard, but he's not a shooter necessarily. We both saw 29% from three-point range. That is not Jimmer material, and that was at the college range. So the NBA three-pointer is going to be a stretch for him, especially immediately. He's also 19 years old, like Kanter. Only played 2 years at Colorado. Was lightly recruited out of Missouri, out of the Kansas City, Missouri area, and so he'll be a guy that they need to develop over time. I think you'd probably compare him to C.J. Miles, except Kevin O'Connor, again the general manager for the Jazz, thought that in this type of age, he's a slasher.
In this league, in today's day and age, when you can't put your hands on somebody, guys that are slashers and guys that get to the ball, get to the free throw line and get layups, and that's what we see.
So a lot of exciting possibilities in the future. That's what draft night is all about.